Turnpike to Turnpike 2010 Fantasy Football. I'm League Commissioner Kevin Babula, and this is the Week 3 preview show where we look ahead to next week's matchups and look back at this past week's action. And it was a lot of non-action for some people. But before we get into that, let's talk about a couple things that are just jumping off the screen to me. First of all, when is Kenny Long going to lose a game? Our defending champion is off to a 2-0 start. He won the final 3 games of the playoffs last year. He rolled through the playoffs, and I'm sure he won the last couple games in the regular season. And he started off 2-0 so far this year. Congratulations again to our defending champion, Kenny Long, on showing all of us experts and old men how to play fantasy football. And speaking of experts and old men, let's talk about your father, Chris Long, my deputy commissioner. Chris, we suck. Who are we to ever critique anybody's teams? You haven't won a game, I think, since the Eisenhower administration. And what did I do this past week? More on that later. Let's take a look at this past week's games first. How about that? So the first one that jumps off of me again is Kenny Long and his incredible run that he's having with his Mount Laurel Texans. He visited Jeff Goldenbaum's Hamilton Square Chiefs this past week, and he beat them soundly 122-93. Jeff put up a good fight. He had Eagles receiver Deshaun Jackson, who had a great game, put up 28 points. But in a game of what seemed like Eagle versus Eagle, Kenny had LaShawn McCoy and his tremendous day of 39 points, and it was not even close when it was all said and done. Next up, we had Chris Long, Kenny's dad, taking on Matt Dreyfus, who Kenny played in the finals last year, and it was off to another great start with a 2-0 team. Matt has Peyton Manning this year, who gave him 30 points this past week, where Chris put up a good fight, 117-118, losing by 1 point stinks, but I can think of worse ways to lose, where Chris got 25 out of Jay Cutler and 26 out of Dallas Clark. To give you guys an idea of just how out of it I was this past week, when I typed this up this week, I actually put Dwight Clark's name in Chris Long's screen. Dwight Clark played for the 49ers. Don't get me started on them either. I hope you guys enjoyed your pizza at Dataram, by the way. Next up, we have Bob Crane's Newtown Titans taking on the Lionville Jaguars led by John Moore. John Moore gets off the snide this week with a 133 win over Bob Crane, who had 97 points. John had a nice game led by a couple people, but Frank Gore with his 33 points, very good for John. And Bob Crane, 27 points for Michael Vick. Can you imagine that, people? He actually made a good roster move. When Bob spoke to me this past week, he said he's going to pick up Mike Vick, and I said to him, don't. It's not going to be a good pick. I don't know shit about fantasy football anymore, guys. Don't talk to me about it. Don't ask my opinion. I stink. Next up, we've got, well, let's get right into it. My Downingtown Vikings taking on the Burlington Chargers. Well, Brian Marshall beat me 104-83. I had a very nice 15 points from my tight end, Jermichael Finley, where Brian had another solid performance by Phillip Rivers and his 33 points. Well, guys, let's get into this. There's only one guy that I wanted this week on this week's Meet the Manager segment. Only one person I wanted to talk to, get in the head of, and try to figure out what it was he was doing when he set his roster. What he was doing when he put a scrub receiver from San Diego in his starting roster and benched a rookie phenom who has a chance to have a humongous year. Of course, I'm talking about Downingtown Vikings owner Kevin Babula. Kevin, are you with us, buddy? And what were you thinking? Are you okay?
I'm doing all right there, Commish. I'm starting to feel a little better about it. It was a pretty bad couple days there for me.
I can imagine.
As you know, I decided not to start Javed Best this past week.
Dumb.
I decided to go with a gut feeling and start Legadou Nani, and it could be the worst move of the season. I'm not feeling good about it, and it cost me the game.
Yeah, that was really a stupid fucking decision, and clearly you're a true asshole to do something like that. But basically, it wasn't the only mistake you had last week, correct? I heard some chatter that you possibly talked to Brian Marshall during the week last week before you realized you were playing him head-to-head, and you gave him some advice on roster movement?
Yeah, it was an all-around bad week for me. I spoke to Brian this week and gave him some advice. He was actually thinking about dropping the Chargers defense and picking up the Giants defense.
Wow, please don't tell me you advised him against that, because we all know that the Giants played the Colts this past Sunday night and gave up 38 points. And the Chargers really just took it to Jacksonville, who for some reason just can't score any points on the road. But you advised him against that, huh?
Yeah, Chargers defense was crazy good against Jacksonville, as I kind of told him they would be before I realized I was playing him. Don't know why I did what I did.
Wow, Kevin. Sounds like you need a hug. Whatever else might help you through this pain of this past week.
Yeah, that would be nice. It's a couple martinis.
Well, good luck to you, Kevin. You got a big game this week coming up. You got Brian Sheehan's Yardley Seahawks. The last thing you want to do at this point is drop 2 in a row, especially after you got off to such a promising start. You have a good team. I think that you're one of the better teams in the league. You got some nice players. If you put them on your starting roster, you know, just kind of go with the flow. Don't overmanage your team and think about what you're doing, all right? And I guarantee you we're going to see you in the playoffs, okay, buddy? So keep your head up, all right?
Yeah, thanks for that, Commish. I suck.
All right. Well, I can't argue with that, Kevin. Try to stay, sober and calm for the next week. Don't make any more stupid decisions, and we'll catch up with you soon.